So we are going to start developing our Java application by making use of this Spring framework. Well, before we go on to the topic of Spring framework, can you guys please tell me what do you mean by a framework? Yes. What is a framework, guys? Built-in functions. Okay. I'm asking you in a very generic way, what is a framework? If you, as a layman, if someone asks you, what do you mean by a framework? As a layman, if I ask you, what do you mean by framework? What will you answer me? Okay, so what all answers I'm getting here, it is built-in functions, basic structure, development environment, platform, way of development, stage, all those things. I can very simply qualify it as one single definition. What is the definition? If you ask me, the definition is going to be a very simple definition. What is Spring Framework? Spring Framework is a ready-made solution for your real-time problems. Okay, what is Spring Framework? Spring Framework is a ready-made solution for your real-time problems. Clear with this? Using your Spring framework, we can develop any of the applications using the built-in functionalities. Okay, so these are the various different aspects that we would be having in our Spring framework. Clear with this, everyone? Okay, so framework basically means a ready-made solution to real-time problems. Clear with this, everyone? Yes. In this framework part, we are having various different frameworks coming in. We have Spring as one of the framework. Hibernate is one framework. We have Struts as one framework. Okay. So like this, in each language, there are different framework. When you go for Python, you have Django framework. Okay. So like this, frameworks are what? They are the ready-made solution to real-time problems. Is it clear to everyone? Guys, I want the response from all the 40 members in the session. Awesome. So now let's quickly dwell into the most important framework that we have in our Java, that is the Spring. Why should we study Spring framework? Spring framework is a ready-made solution, first of all. Secondly, Spring provides ease for the developers to develop the web-based applications. Spring is the most commonly used development framework. Clear with this, everyone? So now let's quickly dwell into your concept of Spring framework. So you have already known about the small aspect of your Spring in your pre-recorded videos, but in today's session you will be learning a little more about your Spring. Okay, so in this session you would be getting clarity about the Spring, the definition, beans, Spring MVC architecture, reactive applications, and all these things you will be getting a complete clarity about. Okay, so now let's quickly dwell into the next. So now in every single lesson we are going to have one particular page like this where we will analyze ourselves in the shoes of a developer who is having a task to be done based on this particular framework or that particular topic in your session. So today's topic is going to be Spring-based MVC. So in this particular lesson, what will be the job that a developer must be doing? What will be the task that a developer will be getting? So that is what we would be learning in this particular session. So let's analyze what's the job role that we are going to have or what's the task that we have as a developer. Okay, due to company's frequent change in goals and based on Joe's skills, he's added to another sprint. So now Joe is you. Okay, may it be Neha, may it be Mayank, may it be Akila, whosoever it is. So you have to assume that you are Joe now. Okay, so you have done exclusively well in your previous sprint. So I hope everybody know what is a sprint. You have done extremely well in your previous sprint, and because of that particular performance, you have been added to another sprint where you are having few more tasks to be accomplished. Now, you as a developer should create a Spring MVC web application that will retrieve users based on their user ID. So now upon giving the user ID, it should be giving me all the list of those users. Obviously, user ID will be associated to only one particular user. Upon giving that particular ID, the user name should be fetched or the user details should be fetched. Okay, the retrieved data will be edited in the form and updated in the database using Hibernate. So whatever is the data that will be retrieved, that will be edited in a form and it will be updated onto your database. So this is the task that the developer, that is you, is going to have. Okay, so through this lesson we will learn how to solve this real world scenario. Clear with this? If you see the a statement there, real world scenario. What is the definition that I gave for a framework, guys? If you all remember, what is the definition that I gave for framework? It's a solution to real world problems. So that's what is given here. Am I completely clear with this, everybody? Are everyone clear on this, people? Guys, again, rule number 3 and 1. Awesome. So now let's kickstart with the things like what all we'll be learning in this particular lesson. So we will be able to define Java framework and Spring framework. We'll be having a setup of the Java framework for executing the Spring-based applications. We will be using custom and default event handlings. We will be implementing the JDBC framework. We will also have the clarity about the Spring MVC framework. What does MVC stand for? M stands for model, V stands for view, and C stands for controller. We would be learning the Spring MVC framework, that is model, view, controller framework. Am I completely clear on this, everyone? Yes or no, people? Can I get the confirmation there? So your hand should always be in the chat box. As soon as I ask you, is it clear? Just to type it as yes. Clear, everybody? Awesome. So now let's go ahead with the next. So what is this Spring Spring framework first? So let's have a quick overview on Spring. So the Spring architecture is basically going to look like this. So you have DAO, you have ORM, you have AOP, you have JW, you have web, and you have core. What are all these things? Guys, you have gone through this Spring core recorded sessions or pre-recorded sessions. So can you please tell me what is this DAO layer? Guys, what is this DAO? I know all these are modules, but what is DAO? And why do we use DAO? Okay. Okay. So the DAO is also called as data access object or data integration layer or data access layer. This is what we actually call it as. Okay. So this layer basically consists of various different things you will be having. Inside this particular DAO, you have the JDBC layer coming in. JDBC already know, Java database connectivity layer you will be having. You will be having the ORM, you will be having the OXM. Okay, you have the Java messaging services, you have the transactions also available in this. Okay, these are the various different things that will be available inside your DAO. What are they? Let me quickly jot it down here in our notepad. So 1 second. So inside your DAO, what all things will be having? First, we have our JDBC, which is our Java database connectivity. Second, we have the object relational mapping, that is of the ORM. The third one, we have object XML mapping, that is OXM. Next, we have Java messaging services, that is JMS. Next, we have the transaction module. So DAO is basically containing your JDBC, where you are going to have your database related connectivities available. Object relational mapping means you'll be able to create your Ojo classes and all those things you'll be able to do it inside your ORM. OXM is going to be your XML mapping. So there will be certain files called as the .xml files. So you will be able to map them to your particular object using this. Next, you have your JMS. Okay, just a second, guys. Okay, so now you have these 5 things available inside your DAO layer. Am I completely clear on this, everybody? What is JDBC? Why do we use it, guys? Why we use JDBC? Can I get the answer in the chat box? Why do we use JDBC, guys? It is used for performing database related operation and also to connect yourself to your database. Clear? ORM is for relating to your object mappings, which is for your Ojo classes and all this other object related things. Next, OXM, it is used for XML related mappings. Java messaging services to enable the messaging transactions. So basically, the JMS is a messaging service module which contains for various different producing and consuming messages, the producer consumer stuffs that you will be having there. That will be inside your JMS. And transactions, it is for it's a module which is used for ensuring that particular declarative transaction management of the classes happen. And it is also used for implementing certain interfaces and certain set of your Ojo classes. Clear with this, everybody? Yes or no, guys? Can I get the confirmation in the chat box? No, I'm giving you the clarity on this, Narahari. Okay, I hope you are clear on this now. Narahari, I hope it is clear now. Great. So I'm giving you some extra bit of things here. So grasp as much as possible from here. Clear, everyone? Awesome. Great. So now let's progress ahead with the things now, people. Is DAO clear to everybody? Awesome, guys. So next, I have already spoke about the ORM object related relational mapping. So next, what is the next thing that we have? We have AOP. What is AOP, guys? What is AOP? Okay. AOP basically stands for aspect oriented programming. Clear with this? What is AOP? AOP stands for aspect oriented programming. What is aspect oriented programming? This aspect oriented programming is going to allow you to define certain interceptors. Okay, so what is this interceptors? Going ahead, I will be explaining it to you. Okay, So it is basically going to take care of the decoupled elements. So you have learned about coupling and decoupling, correct? So this AOP is going to take care of the decoupled elements, and it also implements the functionalities that needs to be separated from that. Okay, so it is going to implement the AOPs, I mean the decoupled elements, and it will be separating certain functionalities from your decoupling. Yeah. Narari, please go through the recorded sessions. Probably it will be having they would have thought about coupling and decoupling. Okay, so in your pre-recorded videos. Okay. Okay, great. So now I hope you got the clarity about the AOP now. AOP stands for aspect oriented programming. See, we are having a particular aspect here. What is aspect? To focus on the decoupled elements. And the other aspect is that we are going to separate certain functionalities from there. So that is what is the aspect oriented programming here. Am I completely clear with this, everybody? Guys, am I clear? Awesome. So actually speaking, the AOP also will have few more set of things associated with it. We also call it as the miscellaneous modules. Okay, we call these AOPs as miscellaneous modules. Okay, what all things will be there in this miscellaneous modules? You will have your AOP, which is aspect oriented programming. Next, you will have something called as aspects. What are they doing? I will tell you. The third one you have is something called as instrumentation. The fourth one that you have in this is going to be the messaging. Is going to be the message. Okay, so these are the 4 miscellaneous modules that you will be having in your Spring framework. Am I completely clear on this, everybody? I'll explain it, don't worry. Anyways, I've written AOP here, right? Okay, so I will be explaining it again. Okay, so now these miscellaneous modules are going to contain what? AOP, aspects, instrumentation, and messaging. What is AOP, guys? I've already told you. AOP is basically used for what? AOP is basically used for focusing on particular aspects. As the name suggests, aspect-oriented programming. So this module is going to provide aspect-oriented implementation, and it will allow you to define certain interceptors and also to clearly focus on the decoupled code. Okay, as I was telling you, its focus is on the decoupled code, and it also separate certain functionalities from that decoupled code and focus only on those functionalities that the decoupled code implements. Clear with this? Let me be clear on this. I'll jot it down. Okay, so this is used to implement or this is used to define the method interceptors and the decoupled code which implements certain functionalities and it will segregate few set of functionalities from the decoupled code. Am I completely clear on this, everybody? Yes or no, people? Awesome. So next we have something called as aspects. What is this aspects? These aspects are used for supporting the AOP. So I will talk about, you have it in the recording, but still going ahead, I will explain you about decoupling, because that's again, okay, I'll close this box because that's the chat box that I've opened. Okay, fine. Okay, so now if I have to focus on coupled and decoupled code, again, I need a lot of time to do that. So please refer to your pre-recorded sessions. Okay, you will get the clarity about that. Okay, so if I get time going ahead sometime, if I get, I'll certainly explain you about the coupled and decoupled codes. Sharma, I hope it's clear. Because coupled and decoupled itself is a huge concept, which I need to take it up in depth. So as of now, I cannot do that. Okay, we will certainly get some time where we will be focusing on that. Clear with this, Sharma? Guys, can I get the confirmation? Awesome, thank you. So why do we use aspects? In order to support aspect-oriented programming. Okay, so we need to use this aspects. Okay, aspects will give you an integration, which will give more power for your aspect-oriented programming. It is to give a buffer support for your aspect-oriented programming. What is this instrumentation then? So what can be the module instrumentation? Have you heard about this instrumentation, guys? Okay, so there is something called as instrumentation. Okay, this is something called as instrumentation in Java. Okay, so there is a class called as instrumentation. Okay, that will be supported through this instrumentation module. Okay, so it provides the it provides the class instrumentation support, and also it will provide certain class loaders that can be used for your servers. Okay, so what is this instrumentation? It is used for providing the instrumentation support for it is used for providing the instrumentation support, and also to load the class loader onto the servers. So this is the reason we are going to make use of our instrumentation. Then what is this messaging? What can be the use of messaging? Okay, so let me change up the font. Settings, style configurations, bold. Okay, settings, style preferences. Okay, so guys, is it clear now? Better? Awesome. So now we have something called as messaging here. So the highlighting is on different ones. So. This is not. Okay, this is much better, I believe. So, why do we use messaging, guys? What can be the main reason for using messaging? Okay, you want the background to be white. Okay, let's keep it to white. Let's keep the color as black. 1 second, guys. Okay, so now let's go ahead with the things. So what is the use of messaging, guys? What's the use of messaging? Okay, so correct, Katkar, thank you so much. Yes, that's right. So messaging is used for what? It is used for providing the messaging services from the routing model through the web sockets. One second, let me close this. Okay, what is it? It basically means that we are providing the messaging services. Okay, we are providing what? We are providing the messaging services for the servers or for the routers. 1 second, guys. Okay, so we are providing what? Messaging services from the routing model through your web sockets. Am I completely clear with this, everybody? So we are using it for that particular aspect. Okay. Now I'm just aligning the fonts accordingly. So that it will be easy for you to jot down, or if you want to write down, it will be easy for you. Okay, so these are the miscellaneous modules that you have in your Spring. Clear with this, everybody? Guys, can I get the response? Is this clear? Okay, so now let's go ahead with the next. We have the JEE module. JEE, you already know, it is an enterprise module that you will be having, which will be focusing on the enterprise related developments. Next, very important module is going to be your web module. Why do we make use of the web module, guys? Why do we make use of the web module? And now everybody notice what all things are available in your web module. In your web module, we have various different people available. Who are they? One is your web. The second one happens to be the web MVC. Next, we have the web socket. Next, we have the web portlet. Okay, these are the four different things that we will be having in our web module. So why do we make use of web? What's the usage of web? Why do we make use of MVC? Okay, so web socket, web portlet, why do we make use of them? Web portlet, why do we make use of it? Okay, so now let's focus on one by one. Why do we make use of web? Okay, so we make use of web to focus on the web oriented implementations. So for the web oriented implementation, we would be making use of this web module. Am I completely clear on this? So this will be containing your inversion of control, IOC. So inversion of control, which you would have gone through it in the initial set of your pre-recorded sessions. So we would be having IOC as a part of your web module. Now, what is this web MVC then? Why do we use web MVC? Web MVC. This web MVC is going to take care of the Spring model view controller architecture. So in order to develop the Spring model view controller architecture, we would be focusing upon the web MVC. Am I clear on this, everyone? Yes or no, people? Guys, can I get a quick response in the chat box? Yes or no? One second, please. Okay, so what is web? I hope you got the clarity on that. Web is what? To focus on the web-oriented, instrumentation, its implementation. I'm sorry. It is to focus on web-oriented implementation, not instrumentation. I'm really sorry about that. Okay, so what is web? Web is to, why do we use web here? We use web to focus on web oriented implementation. So Neha was very much clear, very much right over there, right? So what is these are just the terminologies that we'll be having in the architecture. We are nowhere going to use web or web MVC or WebSocket or web portlet. No, we'll be using the concepts that are present within that particular topic. Like in your web, you have IOC. IOC is called as inversion of control. Okay, what is IOC? IOC is called as inversion of control. Okay, so this is one of the topic or one of the concepts that we implement. So this is part of whom? This is part of your web. So we have Spring Model View Controller. This is one of the implementation that we do. It is present where? It is present as a part of your web MVC. Got the clarity on this, Mayank? Awesome. So next, we have our web socket. Why do we make use of our web socket? Okay, we use WebSocket. It is used for providing the client server communication, client server based communication, which is nothing but your two-way communication. Have you heard about this? Two-way communication, where you send the request also, you get the response also. That is what we call it as two-way communication. Clear with this, everybody? Why do we make use of WebSocket? We use WebSocket for providing the client-server based communication, which is a two-way communication. Okay. Next, we have the web portlet. Why do we make use of web portlet, guys? What do you understand by the name portlet? Guys, I'll just have a glass of water and come back just a second. Okay, so why do we have our web portlet? Okay, so we use web portlet. It is used for implementation of the MVC on the web servlet module. There's something called as web servlet module. This web portlet will provide the implementation of your MVC on this particular module. Am I clear on this, everybody? So web portlet is used for what? It is used for providing the implementation of whatever you have created here in your second layer, that is your web MVC layer. Whatever you have created here, in order to provide their implementation on your servlet module. Servlet means what? It's the code written on the server side, correct? So in your server, if you have to implement this, you will be making use of your web portlet. Clear with this? On your server, you will be having your web servlet. So on that, we will be providing the implementation of your web MVC program that we have written. Clear with this, everybody? Yes, web to focus on web-oriented program. Web MVC is for focusing on the MVC architecture of your Spring. Socket, it is used for providing client-server communication. Portlet is used for implementing the developed MVC code on your web servlet. Web servlet is nothing but your server-side interface or server-side module. Clear with this, everyone? Guys, is this clear? Guys, I want the response from everyone. Is this clear? Awesome, guys. Awesome. So now let's go for the next. If you see here, we got to know about DAO, ORM, AOP, JW, and web. The next important thing is your core module. What is this core module? First of all, your core module is going to contain multiple things. One is the core. Second one that it contains is the bean. The third one is your context. The next one is going to be your SPEL. Okay. So what are these? Let's focus on that now. So what is this core module, if you ask me? So the core module is used for providing the fundamental framework for executing your or developing your application. So JW is simple, Neha. JW is I've not explained it because it is straightforward one. Okay, what is JW? JW is your enterprise-based programming. Okay, so the implementation that you are doing based on a business need, that is what we are going to do in your Spring also. Clear with this? The enterprise related things will be available in your JW module. Clear with this? Now, focusing back onto the core, what is the core going to give you? It is going to give you all the basic fundamentals that is required for developing your Spring program. What does it give? It provides the basic fundamentals like dependency injection, inversion of control that we discussed above. Okay, all these things to develop the Spring application. That is the duty of your core. Next, we have bean. What does this bean do? What is a bean, guys, first of all? It's a simple Java class. It is used to provide the bean factory to generate the POJO for the classes, for the application, and also provides the implementation of the factory pattern. Factory pattern is nothing but a design pattern that we will be using here. So more about that, you can refer it to your code. So you'll be getting the clarity on that. So there is one type of design pattern called as the factory pattern. So we will be using these factory pattern to generate the POJOs for your application. Clear with this, everybody? Is this clear? Can I get the quick response in the chat box? Factory pattern is a design pattern, Sharma. So I cannot go in depth about it. There's a way in which we write a factory pattern. So that particular approach will be used here. So different design patterns are the ways in which we write the programs. So there are different ways in which you write the programs. So one of the pattern we have is your factory pattern. Okay, you have various different design patterns available. Okay, so factory pattern is one. Like this, you have various different ones. The name. Okay, let me give you some of the names which will help you to analyze the thing. Okay, so a few set of design patterns that we have. Like we have singleton design pattern, we have like this, so many different things are there, guys. So many design patterns are there, like factory pattern, singleton pattern, prototype pattern, builder pattern, we have decorator pattern, bridge pattern, you have chain pattern, command pattern, interpreter pattern, iterator pattern. Like this, there are so many lists that will be coming in. Okay, so but here we use the factory design pattern. Clear on this, everyone? Yes or no, people? Guys, I want the response. Is it clear? Awesome. Now let's go for context. So by hearing to the term context, what do you understand, guys? Exactly. Context means in relation to something. Exactly. So context, it is used to, access any objects that are defined and configured in the application. Okay, so it is renowned, or it is the interface application context will be used for this purpose. Interface application context is going to be used for this particular purpose. So what does it mean? It is going to access the objects that are already created in your application. So that's the reason we are telling application context. The objects which are created will be accessed where? In the application. That's why we call it as application context. Am I completely clear on this, everybody? Guys, I want the confirmation in the chat box from everyone. Guys, others, please respond. I have only 5 responses. We have 40 and odd people. 11, 12, 13. Only 13 members are responding. What about others? Guys, are you all there in the session? Okay, great. So the last one is SPEL. What is this SPEL abbreviated as? Yes. So this is abbreviated as Spring Expression Language. Spring Expression Language. So why do we use this Spring Expression Language? It is used for querying and also to manipulate the object in runtime. So if you want to make any changes to certain objects during the runtime, we can make use of the Spring Expression Language and also for querying the data. Clear with this, everyone? Though JDBC module is there, but still it will take the support from the Spring Expression Language for the querying. Clear on this, everybody? These are the various different categories that you have under your Spring architecture. Is the Spring architecture now completely clear to everybody? Guys, I want you to confidently tell yes, no. Guys, this is a very, very important topic. Okay, so I want you to be really very careful on this. So let me send you all these points that I have made here on the chat box. So I'm sending it for core now. Guys, I'll give you 5 minutes time. I want everybody to focus on the pointers that I have sent along with this diagram. Okay, so I want you to clearly focus upon these pointers. So I'll give you 5 minutes time. Okay, whatever queries you have, park it on the other side, park it on the side. Okay, once you are done going through the things for 5 minutes, after that I will ask you whether you have any doubts. When I ask you that question, I want you to come up with your queries. Till then, mark down the pointers that you have the doubts on. Clear with this, everybody? Yes or no, guys? I want the response. Rule number 3 and rule number 1. Be quick, everybody. So that's why I want you to go through that. Okay, guys, let's take up the questions. Do you have any queries in this? Other questions? Okay, so let's quickly take up that instrumentation module, what we have. So what is instrumentation? It's providing the instrumentation support and also to load class loader to the server. So in other words, see, instrumentation is what? Instrumentation is certain, instrumentational support. In other words, some physical device supportations. Okay, since we are dealing with the servers, there will be obviously involvement of certain instruments or certain specific devices. So in order to have the connectivity with them in a precise way, so that time we may have to go to instrumentation. I hope it's clear now. Coming to AOP, so aspect oriented programming. So I've already told you what is aspect oriented programming. It is a way in which we are dealing with the decoupled code. Okay, so which is dealing with certain functionalities. The decoupled code which is dealing with certain functionalities, we can do it only through your aspect oriented programming. Clear with this? OXM stands for XML mapping. You have certain XML files that will be there. You are mapping your objects to those XML files, or you are creating those objects through the XML files. So that's the way your OXM works. Clear with this? So the web MVC, simple model, view, controller, architecture of your Spring is going to be, okay, the model, view, controller, architecture of your Spring is going to be created under your web MVC layer. Clear? Yes or no? Shraddha, is it clear? People, is this clear concepts? All the concepts are clear now? People? Guys, see, I cannot give you examples here. Okay, so these are the topics. These are the major topics under which there are so many different things available. So we are going to do the implementation of those things. So for core, we have dependency injection. In dependency injection only, we have two categories. One is constructor injection, setter injection, getter injection. We have three different things. Setter getter is one. Okay, constructor injection, setter and getter injections, inversion of control. So these are the different set of concepts that we will be delivering inside your code. Clear on this, people? Yes or no, guys? Mayank, I hope it's clear. Mayank, when I say I can give you examples, for what I can give you the examples, I'll certainly give you that. Okay, so for certain things, I will not be able to relate or give specific examples. So for those things, I wouldn't have given the example. For example, I cannot give you examples for SPEL. Okay, that is something which we will be doing as and when the code is written. Okay, but I can give you the example for code which I have given you. Okay, now if you ask me, can you give me example for a web MVC? I cannot give you. It's an architecture which we are writing. Correct? So it's something like that. So let's move ahead with the things. I hope this part of your Spring architecture is clear to you all. Guys, one last time, can I get the confirmation? Is Spring framework architecture clear? I want response from everyone, guys. Okay, great. So now let's go ahead with the things, people. Okay, next. So the same thing which I had explained to you is now available here. I would be skipping up these parts. because I've already given you the clarity on the COP, DAO, and all those things. Next, what are the advantages of using the Spring framework? So now, the first one they say is lightweight. Lightweight is the advantage. How lightweight can be an advantage? Now, let's take up one simple example. If the code that you are writing is occupying 200 MB, okay, it contains some data which is having 200 MB, and you have the same type of code which is written just in 150 MB. Now tell me, which one will you prefer? Will you prefer 150 MB or 200 MB? Okay, now I want you to give me a clarity. Why do you prefer 150 MB? No, why? Why is it 150 MB, guys? Why is it 150 MB? Okay, so now the reason why you prefer 150 MB is, talking as a layman's perspective, okay, let us assume that you have an Android phone, okay, you want to run particular application, okay, so you will be choosing, for example, now let us say that you love two important games, two games you love. One is Call of Duty, other one is Battlegrounds. Okay, you like both the games you like. Okay, now Call of Duty is going to occupy 3 GB of memory in your phone, and Battlefield is going to occupy 1.9 GB or equivalent to 2 GB of memory. You like both the games, guys. You like both the games, but you're having a choice to select only one. Which one will you choose? And why will you choose it? Speak as a tech guy. As a tech guy, I want you to answer. Will you choose Battlegrounds or will you choose Call of Duty? Guys, I want the answer. Will you choose Battlegrounds or will you choose Call of Duty? And I want you to give me the answer why as well. Guys, I want the answer. I'm waiting for you to respond. Why will you choose, what will you choose out of PUBG, that is Battlegrounds, and your Call of Duty? I want the answer, guys. See, this is what I say. If you are not interactive, I would not be able to convey the concept in a better way. I want you to be very interactive. This is something which will make you to understand the advantage of your Spring framework. So guys, quick answer. Will you choose Battleground or will you choose Call of Duty? Quick. I want the response in the chat box. Okay, so I'll give you the question once again for those who have not understood. We are having two important games which you like. One is Call of Duty, which is going to occupy 3 GB of memory. Other one is Battleground, which is going to occupy 2 GB of memory. Okay, which game you will choose? You are allowed to choose only one game. Which game will you choose and why will you choose it? Now, I don't want you to give me the answer as the lover of the game. I want you to give me the answer as a tech guy. As a tech guy, what will your answer be? The answer is obviously going to be Battlegrounds. Why? Because firstly, it is going to occupy less memory on your system. The reason of, the advantage of having less memory is that, okay, the advantage of having less memory is that it will consume, it will save some space which can be used for other tasks. Correct? And because the memory consumption is less, the burden that will be there on its execution for the RAM will get reduced. Am I clear on this? Okay, so the burden on the RAM for execution of this particular application will be less. So lighter the weight, smoother the execution. Am I completely clear on this, everyone? Lighter the weight, smoother the execution. So that's the advantage of using Spring framework. Next, flexible. What do you mean by flexible, guys? What do you mean by flexible? Now, normally there will be one, thing that will be told everywhere. Especially when you are traveling in bus. That too a very rush bus when you are traveling. You know, people who are very thin. People who are very thin will be more flexible and they get adjusted in the small places. Correct? Have you seen people who are from Bangalore will know this much better, especially for those who have traveled to their colleges in rush bus or who have traveled to their offices in rush bus will know this pain. Okay, so a thin person can get adjusted in any small place. Okay, if there is more space also he can easily get adapted there. Correct? So flexible means what? Adaptable. Flexible means what? Adaptable. He can get adapted to whatever way it wants. Okay, can you make him to sit in a full empty space? Yes. Can you make him to sit in a small congested place? Yes, he can. Can you make him to sit in a semi-congested place? Yes. So there will be occupancy for him in every single situation. So flexible means what? Flexible means adaptable to any kind of situations. Whether it is based on storage, whether it is based on the code, whether it is based on conditions, whether it is based on technology, anything for that matter, it can be more flexible to that. Am I completely clear on this, everybody? What is flexible that? Yes or no, guys? Guys, yes or no? Awesome. So now, last one, focus. So what do you mean by focus, guys? Focused means what? Guys, got the clarity on this, everybody? Yes. So focused means what? Focused means particularly oriented onto achieving something that is required. Oriented towards achieving something that is required. So what is required? Required things are going to be given by your consumers or the customers. What are those? Those are the requirements. So focusing purely on the requirement and delivering it based on that particular requirement is what we call it as focus. Using Spring, we can be more focused towards the expected need of the consumers. Am I completely clear on this? You can develop the focused application. Focused application means the application which will focus. No, that is not the case. Now, application which focuses is not the focused application. Focused applications are such applications which are developed purely based on specific need of the consumer. It will not be in a generic need. It will be on a specific need of the consumer. Clear with this, everybody? Guys, is this clear to everybody there? What are the three advantages here? Guys, is this clear to everybody there? Okay, great. Now, let's proceed ahead with the next. Now, we have a small assisted practice where we need to set up the Spring Framework environment. How do we do that? Let's focus on our first assisted practice. Are you all with me on this, guys? Have we started? Guys, how's the Josh? I hope you all are with me. Awesome, guys. Now let's start with the things. Firstly, we will be focusing on our Eclipse. So I would be opening up my Eclipse window. This is going to be my Eclipse window. Let's focus on the task. You already have the task list available with you. I would be referring to the same task list. Okay. So the first assisted practice, that is the environmental setup. So what's the things that we are going to do? We are going to create 4 subdivisions in this particular task. So one is creating a Maven project, which is web enabled, creating a POM file, next building the project and pushing the code to our Git repositories. So the last task I would not be doing. I want you to focus on the last task. Clear with this, which you already know it. Okay. So the first 3 things is what we would be doing it together. Okay. So now once we open our Eclipse, the first thing that we need to do is we need to go to File, choose New Maven project. Let's focus on the first step now. The first step is go to File, tell it as New, the Maven project. So when you are in the Maven project window, the creation of the Maven project window, so what does that mean to do? Firstly, uncheck create simple project and check use default workspace location and click next. See here, we have an option called as create simple project, which should have got checked here. I should not be checking it. It should be unchecked. We should be using use default workspace location. Click on next. So in this, we would be adding the catalog as all catalog. We need to add up few more things. What is that we need to add up? From the archetype list, choose the row that has artifact ID as Maven archetype web app. So here we need to come here. Okay. So I'll tell it as add archetype. Okay, I can type it as Maven. Okay. Maven. Let me check for that. So it should be loading. So let's wait for it. Okay, 1 second. It should be loading in for us. Yeah, see here, it's loaded now. So we want Maven archetype. Okay, Maven archetype web app. So I want a Maven archetype, MAVN hyphen archetype. Let's copy it from here. web app. Okay, Maven archetype web app is what we have. So which one should we choosing? We should be choosing the Apache one, that is 1.4. Okay, I will select the Apache one, tell it as next. Okay, so now here enter the group ID and artifact ID. So the group ID and artifact ID is going to be the same, that is Spring Setup. So that's going to be the same. Both of them are going to be the same. So now artifact ID, what is the artifact ID? That is also, okay, so group ID, I will tell it as from. Okay, let's tell it as from. Artifact ID, let me tell it as Spring Setup. Okay, that's my artifact ID. Group ID is com, artifact ID is Spring Setup. Next, we need to click on finish. I'll tell it as finish. So once I tell it as finish, you would be having your project enabled here. See here, Spring Setup is the name of the project that we have here. Clear with this, everyone? Now, what is the next step that we should be doing? The next step is this will create the project in the File Explorer. Before building the project, we need to confirm that servlet.jar has been added to the project. So we need to add servlet.jar. 1 second. That's available in your environment. So I will be adding it here. Okay, 1 sec. Okay. So I should be downloading it. I don't have it. Let me download the servlet.jar file. My screen is freezed. Don't worry. Don't worry. Servlet.jar. I wanted. I have freezed it. One second. I'm downloading it. You can download it separately also. That's also not a problem. Okay. So it will load it up. It will load it. You need to wait for a few minutes. Okay. It would certainly load it. Okay. So now if you come for your Spring Setup, right click on that. Go to properties. Okay. So in that you have Java build path. In Java build path, libraries. In this, add external jars from your place where you have it. So download that servlet. Tell it as apply. Okay. So next, tell it as apply and close. So now whatever errors you had, it would get vanished. Clear with this, everybody? Yes or no, guys? Guys, please follow the rule. Mayank, don't violate the rule. Please follow the rule. Okay. I have given you a rule that until and unless I complete the topic, I don't want anybody to drop a message in the chat box. Okay. Please follow the rules. At the end, I will certainly take up every single question. Every question I will be taking it. Okay. Please have patience. Clear? Everyone? I will take up all your queries. I'll take it up. So give me some time. Okay. So first, let me clear it. Let me complete it because I will be in a single flow. The flow will get disrupted. That's why. Okay. So once we download it, I'll give you the link as well for downloading the jars. Okay. Let me give you the link in the chat box. You can download it from there. Okay. If you want it. Now, once this step is done, what's the next step, guys? Let's focus on our document. So before building the project, to confirm servlet.jar has been added to the project, in the project store, right click to the properties, So like the way we added it, okay, add external jars, then click on OK, then apply and close. Now we need to create the form.xml. It would have by default come, okay, and add up this following entries. So if you see here, there would be a form.xml by default available. See here, form.xml. So this is the default form that you would be having, guys. This is the default form that you will be having in here. Clear with this, everybody? So all these versions and stuffs and all those things will be there. Like the way we had here, the model version 4.0.0, Spring Setup, WAR, snapshot, and all these details. Every single thing will be there in your code as well. Clear with this, everybody? Yes. So you have your Maven compiler plugin, Maven plugin install, Maven clear, JUnit, you have your Spring snapshot and all those things. Some extra set of code to be added here. Let's look into those extra set of code now. Okay, I'll show the steps again. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay, so I'll even give you a note as well, guys. Don't worry. Okay, so we need to add up certain dependencies here, guys. So JUnit dependency is there. We need the Spring Framework dependency. So I'll copy only the dependencies from here. Only the dependencies from here. As I said, okay, let me copy only these dependencies. Come back to your code. Add up under your dependencies. Okay, under your dependencies, add up all these dependencies. Okay. So we have added up our dependencies in our project. Am I completely clear on this, everybody? Yes. What are the steps? First step is what? Now notice, everybody. So let me come back here and create a new doc. Okay. Step number 1, create Maven project. Step number 2 is what? Okay, let me add it from here only. So let's refer this. I'll add up remaining things to this here. Okay, so these are the steps that we would be adding up. Okay, so these are the steps I would add it here. Okay, first open Eclipse, go to File menu, choose New Maven project. Okay, after which the next step that you are doing in here is the jars. Maven jars will automatically be taken up, don't worry, upon building it. So it will automatically take it. Okay, so now open Eclipse, go to File menu, choose Maven, New Maven project. We need to uncheck Create Sample Project. Create Simple Project should be unchecked, and check Use Default Workspace Location. Okay, after that, from the archetype list, choose the row that has artifact ID as Maven archetype web app. So this is the web, archetype ID that we should be checking. Then we should click on next. Then group ID as com. Group ID should be what? Com. Artifact ID should be what? Spring Setup. Spring Setup. Next, we will click on finish. This is going to create us the project files in Project Explorer. Okay. Next, before building the project, we need to confirm the servlet.jars. Okay. The servlet.jars, whatever we have, I've given you the link. Download servlet.jar from there. What you should do with that? Go to Project Explorer, right click on the project, and choose Properties. Select Java Build Path. From the options on the left, click on Libraries, that tab, and on the right, if there is an existing entry for servlet.jar, then click on Cancel. If there is not, then click on Class Path Entry and click on Add External Jars button. So from the file list, select servlet.jar file and click on OK. So after which, click on Apply and Close. Now, what is the next step? the next step is add the dependencies to the form.xml file. Form.xml file. I'll even give you the dependencies also. So once all these things are done, your project is now set up. Am I completely clear on this, everybody? Yes or no, guys? I'm pasting all these steps in your chat box. So the last step is add the dependencies here. So add the dependencies to the form.xml. What all dependencies? The dependencies list I'm giving you. So the dependencies, JUnit dependency, you already have it. So if you want, you can even add that also, but add up only the required dependencies. Okay, let me add this up. Okay, we have added till here. Which dependency? Spring Framework, org.spring framework. Where is it? org.spring framework. We have added this. So these dependencies we need to add now. Okay. Please use it on the chat box here, guys. It will be easy for you to do it immediately. Okay. So add up these dependencies onto your form.xml. Okay. So from there, or what I'll do is, for now, for today, you can just use it this way. So from tomorrow, rather than GitHub, it would be easy if you have it on a shared drive. Okay. So these things will be added onto your shared drive. I'll take the access from your host and I'll add them onto your shared drive. Okay. So from there you can access them. Clear with this, everybody? Awesome, guys. Now, what's the next thing that we need to do? We need to come onto your project. From the project, I come back here in your form. Do we have any errors? Okay. Here, these errors will be shown here, but it's usually not there. So that is fine, guys. You can right click. Any version of Java is fine, guys. Okay. So right click, I'll run as Maven build. You can just run it as Maven build. Okay. So in goals, what we can tell it. 1 second. Just give me a minute, guys. 1 second. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Just give me a moment. Okay. Okay, we are having some errors which we need to rectify. Okay, let's rectify them. Okay. So that's problem in my Maven, my project, I believe. So let me remove the dependencies and then try running it. I'll remove the dependencies and now let me try running it. Just hold on, guys. Let's look into that. Okay, do up this setup, guys, for now. Okay. Okay, let's see what's the error that we have. Do we have any errors here? Nope. Do we have any errors in form? Nope. So guys, just do one thing. Just run those. Okay, run it with your dependencies added there. Okay, guys, run with the dependencies that is available. Okay, that I have given. So run with that. Let's see what will happen. Okay, so let me see if it is running in your systems, but in my system it's not. So there might be difference in the versions, I believe, probably. There might be difference in the version. So just run it in your system. Let's check. I don't think so. Let's check that also in deployment assembly. Add Java build path entry, servlet charge. That also I have done. So now we have some errors. What is this error? With the dependencies that we get. So anybody is able to run this with the dependencies? Kamal, you were able to do that? Okay, just execute it with that. Let's see what will be the result. Kamal, you have to comment in the chat box only. We cannot unmute you. Okay, the jar file download link you wanted. Okay. Sharing it. I'm sharing it. The jar file download link. Okay, the dependencies that we get while we get a time creating the project, no, those are not the ones. That is for a different reason. This is for a different reason. Okay, that is totally different, and this is totally different. So just see, just execute it and check. Let's see what will be the case in here. We still have some dependencies here. That's why it's still showing the error. Let me also keep checking. Quickly do that up, guys. Be quick. Be quick, everybody. So just do up the settings that I have told you. Follow up the settings that I have sent you here. Do these settings. Let's check for the executions. Be quick. So just give me 2 minutes. I'll just have some glass of water and be back. Be quick. Okay, Kamal, you are able to do it. With the same dependencies, Kamal? Probably there might be some problem in my Eclipse. Kamal, is it through the same dependencies or any external dependencies did we add it? Okay, servlet dependency. Can you please share that dependency in the chat box, please, Kamal? Just add up the dependency in the chat box, guys. Please add up that servlet dependency also. Okay, be quick and guys, let's take a small break for 10 minutes. I'll just keep the timer on. Neha, those dependencies which will what we are telling, once you execute your Maven, automatically those things will get added up. Don't worry. Okay, so so we have a quick small timeout. Okay, so we will start the timer. Okay, I'll be keeping it for we have added the Java dependency as well, right, Kamal? So Java X dependency also we should be adding. Okay. You can download that jar also. So you can just come over here, tell it as Java X jar. If you tell, you will get it in the first go itself. So if you see Java X jar, you can add that up. So that's Java zip. So this one is for Java X. Okay, so Java X also you can add it, extract. That's not a problem, no worries on that. But ultimately our steps should be fine. Okay, I'm just extracting that. So you can just add them also onto your X. Okay. Right click, properties. So in your Java build path, tell it as add external jar. You can even search for Java X. Where did I add it? You can add the dependency separately also, or you can download it and add it also. So I got specified folder documents. Okay. You can even add it onto your deployment assembly also. Add build path entries, Java X jar, add, apply and close. Clear? So this much we can do it. Okay, so yeah, some of them have given their Java X servlet dependency as well. This also, if you want, you can add it. So this dependency, you can add it. Okay, so follow one, either you add the jar or you add the dependency in form.xml. Do either one of them. Okay, but for now, everybody relax. Okay, calm down. Let's take a small break. Have your dinner. Come back. Let's go ahead with the further things. Clear, guys? We have got the steps now. We know what we have to do, and let's focus on that. Clear, people? Guys, can I get the response? I'll tell you, Neha, don't worry. Guys, is the Josh still high, or it will be high after the dinner? Guys, will your Josh be high even now, or it will be high after the dinner? If you are not responding, I'm not going to give the dinner break. Okay, fine. Let's take a quick break for 15 minutes, guys. Not more than that. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to maximize this. Okay, guys, let's meet up exactly by 9:35. Okay, thank you. Be quick and be back soon. Have to spend time to complete this. No worries, Neha, we'll resolve that. We'll resolve that, no worries. So errors are the boons for us, to be very frank, because errors will make us learn many things. Correct? If our program executes in one go, we'll not get to know what's the problem we get. Right? So through the errors is where we can start learning. Okay. So in meantime, Neha, can you just start? Can you start, checking why those errors are coming? Neha, you know, um, RM Katkar. Can you guys quickly start checking why those errors are there? Be quick, everybody. Be quick, everyone. So I'm going to give you a few minutes time, quickly complete them. Yes, Neha, I know the error. Please try searching why those errors are coming. What's the reason for that errors? Mayank, can you please share the updated dependencies, so it will be helpful for your friends. Let's come for the install. Okay, no, I. Okay, so guys, we can use the form given by Mayank. So that should do the things for us. No worries. Just keep this on. Okay. So keep this form in there. Let's check this up later. Okay. So no worries, guys. This is not a big deal. We can just get it over. So let me just run it once. Okay, where is that? I have my console. Why is my console not visible? Okay. 1 second. Why is my console not coming in here? Okay. Okay. Now I have it here. So if you see here, we have the build success. With that, the new form. Okay. So you can use the new form, guys. Okay. You can use the new form. Let's check it with Maven clean. We are cleaning it, so it's cool. So let's run as Maven build. Okay, the dependency change. Let's come for the install. If you see there, we have the build success. Clear with this, everybody? So automatically the things will get executed with this. So the form.xml is going to be the same, only that we need to change the version numbers. Clear with this, everybody? See here, we are giving the version numbers. Yes or no, guys? Can I get a confirmation? Neha, simple. See, you need to just add up this version values here. Okay, Neha, relax, Neha, relax. So what you need to do is add up this form. Okay. So let me share you this form again. Okay, or you can refer to the GitHub repository of Mayam. Okay, copy only the dependencies. Okay, only the dependencies copied. Okay, so come over here. Okay, in place of dependencies. Okay, yeah. Right. So I'll just mark this value 5.3.18. So in place of dependencies, come over, paste it. So now you will have some errors coming in. So in place of this, I'll copy this. Okay, press Control F. In place of this 5.3.18, we are going to replace that with. So I'll tell replace all. When you tell replace all the errors are vanished. So now here, right click, run as Maven clean. First clean it. Okay, so build a success. Right click, go to run as, run configuration. In goals, tell it as clean install, then tell it as run. Okay, so when you tell it as run, so it would be giving you build success. Clear with this, everybody? Yes or no, guys? Neha, is it clear now? Okay, Kamal, what is not clear? Let's take it up now. Arey, Neha, I did not do anything. Okay, I did not do anything. Only thing that I did was wherever we had, I'll press Control J, wherever we had $Spring Framework version, okay, in place of this, I replaced that with version number 5.3.18. That's it. Okay, I added the version value. I told replace all. So then automatically it replaced wherever that particular thing was there. So that is going to be our Spring version, correct? So I added my Spring version there, and then I right clicked, went to run Maven clean. It cleaned up everything. Okay, my project was clean. Then I went to right click, tell run as Maven build. Before that, run configuration. Correct, Radhika. It's very much correct. Why we should add it in form, I will tell you. Okay, tell it as clean install. Okay, run it. So save it, run it. So when you run it, okay, so just paste it. So you need not even if you don't copy also, it's fine. Okay, whatever code I had sent, same thing you paste it and replace that org.spring version with this version value. And now coming to the answer for Radhika's question. Radhika asked me a question saying that, sir, we can download the jars, then why should we use hardcode form? Very good question. Now, Radhika, now my answer to you is every single time you deploy your application onto your client, will you download the jar files also and paste it there for every single customer? Can you do that? Since we cannot do that for every single customer, say suppose you have 100 customers who are using your project or your application. For example, WhatsApp. WhatsApp is an application which will also have form. Okay, it also runs on Java. Okay, so now if in WhatsApp there are billions of users, is WhatsApp asking us to download jars? Radhika, is it asking us to download jars? No, right? Since form is present, automatically those configurations will happen. Clear with this? To automate the configurations, we use form.xml. Clear with this, Radhika? Now, even if you want to change the version of your Spring, you go for, form.xml itself. If you want to change the version of your Jira or JUnit or anything, we go for form only. Correct, Radhika. It's totally correct. It's totally correct. But using the configurations on form is always ideal because minute changes you want to do, you can do it directly in your form. But if you want to do it through your jars, then you have to download the latest jar. That latest jar should be available for you, and all those headaches will be there. So rather than that, directly give the dependency and the configurations in your form, it will be reflected for you. Clear with this, everyone? Yes or no, guys? Are you all now able to execute the code? Yeah, correct. Size also matters. Forms will, every dependency is going to be having the things. Version as of now, you can keep it as 5.3.18. Okay, you can keep it as 5.3.18. Only the version needs to be changed, Neha. Only the version needs the change. Rest everything is the same. Rest everything is the same. Just add up only the dependencies from that Git link. Copy only the dependencies and paste it. Okay, guys, I will give you a few more minutes. Quickly complete them. Okay, be quick. Not required. Version is sufficient. So you can use dependencies for every jar. You can add dependencies, guys. For every jar, you can add dependencies. What all things? Group ID, artifact ID, version, and if you want scope, you can add the scope. If not required, version is sufficient. Guys, is this clear? The first assisted practice, is it clear to everyone? We had a lot of learnings in our first project, first assisted practice, right, guys? Guys, I want the response. Yes, we had multiple learnings. Like cumulatively, the entire set of people started working. Everybody started working towards the errors. We got the errors, we rectified the errors. We are now having the success build. Guys, is this clear to everyone? Can I get the response now? Rule number 1 and 3. You need not mention that whatever is available now, please mention that that's sufficient. It will be more ideal, I believe. The Java version 11 will be more ideal because now everybody is migrating from 8 towards 11. You need not mention that whatever is available now, please mention that that's sufficient. Okay. So as and when the things are needed, I will tell you. So to give you a clarity on your form, so this is for your JUnit related things. This is for adding up your Spring Core artifact ID. And next, we have the Spring expression from your Spring framework. Next, Spring Beans, Spring Context, Context Support, Java Assist. Next, standard. From the tag libraries, we have standard tag libraries. From the commons, we have the commons DBCP, and the JavaX servlet, the JSTL one. We have JavaX persistence, the JavaX API we have. Okay, JavaX servlet we have, and for the Spring setup, we have the build. Okay, so these builds are for the setup of your Spring. So the Maven related things, the Maven related deployment, war file, shoot fire versions, and all those things will be here. Clear with this, guys? Kamal, Maya, and others, are this clear? Guys, I'm not getting the response from every one of you. Can I see it in the chat box? Is the first part clear to everyone? First assisted practice. Kamal, that I will be doing it, not immediately in the first class. Yeah, Kamal. As in when we go it, we'll discuss on that. Okay. Guys, I want the response. Is the first assisted practice clear to everyone? Yes or no? Guys, I'm getting response from only 8 members. We are more than 8 here, right? We are 52. Guys, that's a big number. I want everybody to respond here. Is the first assisted practice completed and is it understood by everyone? Can I get the response now? Neha, what is no? Neha is not understood. Neha, what's your query? I want it to be still error. Okay, what's the error? Can you please show, share me what is the error? SP51975. I don't know what's your full name. Can you please let me know on your name and what's your query? See, yes, that part I will tell you. Don't worry. So that part I will tell you. So I guess some dependency is missing in your code, Neha. Some dependency is missing. And please check the code. Check that code as well. Some dependency is missing. You might have added some extra things there. So it looks like there is a dot before 5. Can you please check that? .5.3.18. Can you please check that? Okay, so I don't know who is this SP51151975. I don't know what's your name. Can you please tell me what's your query? Guys, the ones who have not understood, please post your query so that I can answer it. Yes, Mayank. All the jars are interdependent, so only the artifact IDs are going to be changed. So they are going to belong to one particular group, and each group will have different artifacts. Showing error at dependencies. Please change the version. SP151975. Please change the version. So upon changing the versions, your errors are going to get erased. So here you would have done this mistake. See here, you would have this in your code. Only then, if you have this, it will give you error. So change this to 5.3.18. Change this, replace all. The errors will vanish now. Perfect. That sounds good, Neha. So can we proceed ahead with the next, guys, now? Okay. So before we continue, are you all clear till here? I want the answer for this now. Is everything clear till here? Everybody should answer for this question. Okay. No, Mayank. You need to add the specific dependencies also. Certain specific dependencies must be added, Mayank. Okay. So now let's all park the things aside. I want the answer now. Is the things clear till here? People, I want everybody to answer, not 2, 3, 4 people. I want all the 40, 50 people to answer. Quick. 4 done, 5 done, 6, 7. Only 7 members. I pity myself. Others. Guys, are you all there in the session? Can I get the response, please? 8. Guys, come on, yeah. Where are others? Guys, wake up. Guys, are you all there? I don't have alarms so that I can ring it up. Kamal, I will do that. Don't worry. Shoaib is back. Guys, I want response. Be quick. Let's focus on the things now. Okay, so now let's go ahead with the next topic of discussion for the day. So we are as per the agenda, guys. You need not worry about the completion of the topics. That is the burden on my shoulders. I will take that burden, and in fact, I will deliver it in a very easy way for you. Clear with this? You need not worry about the coverage of the topics. Neha, clear? Neha, can you confirm me on this? Great. Thank you, Neha. So let's go ahead with the next topic. So whatever code we have done, please push it on to your, work kit. Okay. What is? I don't think so. That case will come, Maya. We already have some extra sessions, so we will certainly be able to complete it. Don't worry. Next, Spring containers. Guys, can you please tell me what is containers? Guys, what do you mean by containers? Containers means lunchbox. Nice, Narahari. Okay. Containers are usually used for storing some data. Okay, basically. The containers. Okay. You want the version, guys? I'm again telling you when I'm in between some topics, please, please don't get deviated. Okay, please don't get deviated. Harsh, please. Okay, great. So now containers are some data sets which is a holder for some data sets. But in case of Spring, what do you mean by a container? A Spring container forms the core of your Spring framework. It is a core part of your Spring framework. The container instantiate means creation or bringing it into existence. Okay, configurations, making the settings, and assembling. Assembling means grouping them together. The dependencies between the objects. So instantiating, configuring, and assembling the dependencies between the object is the work of our container. So why do we use our Spring container? Spring container is basically used for instantiation, that is creation, configuration, that is making the property settings, and also to assemble, to merge the contents of various different objects. Am I completely clear on this, everybody? So this is the task of our Spring container. So if you see the example, we have our Pojo classes, we have the metadata. It will be taking both of them together, and inside our Spring IOC container, it is going to instantiate the Pojo class. It is going to configure as per the metadata, and it is going to add up all the dependencies that is required for the object, and it is going to give you what? A ready to use application. Am I completely clear on this, everybody? Yes or no, guys? Am I clear on this? Metadata is nothing but the raw information that you will be having based on your configurations. It is the property files. You can take it. You can keep it as the property file that you will be having. Okay, so that's about a Spring container. So what are the different categories of our Spring container? The Spring container is basically going to have two categories. One is the Bean Factory container. Other one is we can have it as application context container. Guys, don't interrupt in between. Please, I'm requesting you all. Okay, Spring IOC container is going to have two categories. One is the factory Spring Bean Factory container. Other one is Spring Application Context Container. Application context, you remember we had heard about it somewhere. Where did we hear about application context, guys? In our Spring framework, there is one sub-module called as the context. In context, we have something called as application context container. Application context. What is context? Guys, if you remember, see here, we had written that also. What is context? Context is used to access any objects that are defined and configured. In other words, to access the created objects, in your application. That is what we call it as application context. So we have that application context container also. So what is the duty of your Bean Factory container? It is going to basically give you the support for the dependency injection. DI stands for dependency injection and is defined by whom? It is defined inside a package called as org.springframework.beans.factory.beanfactory interface. Bean Factory is the interface that we will be using here. Clear with this, everybody? Guys, is this clear? Next, coming to our Bean Factory container. Bean Factory container it adds more enterprise specific functionalities. Okay, enterprise specific functionality means it is going to focus on the Bean related structures, which is inside your org.springframework.context.application context. Application context is provided through who? It is provided through your org.springframework.context. Am I completely clear with this? That is basically an interface which we will be using for instantiating a particular bean. That bean is nothing but a class which we are going to instantiate. Clear with this? Spring IOC container is of two categories. One is Bean Factory container, other one is application context container. Bean Factory provides the basic support for dependency injection, whereas your Spring Bean Factory, the second one is your application context. Second one also is written as Bean Factory. Please pardon for that. So the application context is used for what? It is provided for a more specific functionalities and is it basically does what? It basically instantiates the Pojo or it instantiates the beans. Clear on this, everybody? Guys, is this clear now? Yes, Neha. Arey nahi yaar. Narari, you need not by heart anything. Why will you by heart yaar? Chill. So we can say Tomcat server uses containers to run web applications. Yes, it does. So internally, it will be having different types of containers, but yeah, Spring will be having its own specific container. Great. So guys, shall we go ahead with the things now? Guys, is this clear? Correct, Mayank. See, we have only 7 yes. Where are others? People, are you all there in the session? Guys, please, yeah, come on, respond. I understand. I understand it's a sleeping time, but still, yeah. Okay, let's go ahead with the things. So before we go ahead, I'll give you 2 minutes time. Just have a quick, go through on these topics. Please have a quick go through on these topics. Application context. Application context. Application context comes in which portion of your Spring MVC, guys? Right, application context comes in which portion of your Spring framework? Correct. It is present. It is a part of your core module of your Spring. Kamal, it's not in dispatcher servlet. Application context comes under your core module of your Spring framework. I'm not asking the package, I'm asking you the module in which it is going to come. It's coming in core module. So since it is a part of the core module, don't you think it is going to be the core of your Spring framework? By default, it is going to be the core of your Spring framework. That's the first thing. Second use, I told you, it is used for instantiation, correct? Creation of objects. I told you it is used for configurations, for assigning the properties, that is configuration. Wire objects together. Wire objects means link objects together. Link multiple objects together. Next, manage the life cycle of the object. Every object will have a life cycle, right? First, it is getting instantiated, then it is getting used. After that, it is going to get destroyed. So, it is this Spring container is going to manage the life cycle of the object as well. Clear with this, everybody? Occurrence of a activity is what we call it as event, correct? Yes or no? Occurrence of an activity is what we call it as an event. Agree with me? Everyone? Yes. So now what is event handling? What is event handling, guys? Event handling is a task or a process where an activity is being controlled. Controlling a specific set of activity is what we call it as event handling. Controlling, in other words, it can be an execution. Okay, it can be a removal of a control. Anything it can be. So having a control over the event is what we call it as event handling. So now there are two things: default event, custom event. What is default and what is custom? Default basically means these are the events which will get executed automatically and are available from before default. So these events are predefined, and in certain cases they will automatically get executed. But custom events are the events which are created by the user and are handled in a specific conditions. Am I completely clear on this, everybody? Yes or no, guys? Got the clarity on this? Awesome. So now we need to start studying more about this default and custom event handling. So now let's go ahead with the things. So now, whenever we talk about event handling, first, event. What is an event? Action involving a graphical user interface object such as button click. So that is what we call it as event. Okay, so event is what? It is an action which involves the graphical user object like a button click or a mouse click, I'm sorry, or it can be a mouse scroll or anything as such. What is event handling? Mechanism of controlling the event and deciding the result of the event. So upon mouse click, what should happen? That is event handling. Okay, and what should happen is a result. of that particular event. So that is what we call it as event handling, controlling the event. I told you this. Delegation-based event model. So what is delegation-based event model? Event handling concept used in Java. So delegation-based event model happens to be the event modeling approach that we use in Java. Clear with this, everybody? Yes or no, guys? Guys, yes or no? Great. So next we have object used to implement event handling. So event source and event listener object. So event source is the path where your events are present. Event listeners are the ones which will perform the execution of a particular event. So they will listen to which event is coming and they will execute that event. Okay, so in order to make the event come into existence, we have event source and event listeners. Event is the activity. Event handling is going to be the result of the activity. So this event handling is based on the delegation-based event model approach. And we have event source and event listeners to make the event successful. Am I completely clear on this, everybody? Guys, can I get the quick response on this? Awesome. Awesome. Great. I'll give you 2 minutes, guys. Quickly go through this and let me know if you have any doubts. 2 minutes. Right, Mayank. So SP will not be able to learn that in today's session for sure. So we are almost towards the end of today's session. Okay, so guys, I'll give you a couple of minutes again to go through whatever we have discussed in today's session, because the next topic is having a relevance. Guys, I want the response from everyone, please. Guys, I hope you all enjoyed my session today. Guys, can I get the with a little slow pace? So now I have got the